me myself, Dr. Jyoti Kumari Sharma, have written one book known as Inclusive Growth in India with special reference to a socio-economic perspective, explained in form of a tree of inclusive growth, a framework of equity, prosperity and social justice in India. Now, we all know that we all are living for prosperity. We all want equity and social justice. Still, we don't work for it. Why? We all want equality, but why we are not going for inclusive growth? That is a very big question. Everybody says economic growth, economic growth, economic development, but nobody needs and goes for inclusive growth and sustainable development. If we go for inclusive growth and sustainable development, then we go for prosperity. And prosperity is the biggest achievement of our life. So for this thing, what we all need? We need 5 basic elements. Which are those 5 basic elements? First is finance. Second is education. Third is healthcare. Fourth is employment. And 5 is your infrastructure, which gives you human resource development. That is your development. So, how does it work? It works in form of a tree. In what way? Can you tell me? Okay, let me explain. The first thing is finance. Finance acts in form of a seed, in terms of inclusive financial development, that is financial inclusion. How does it act so? The thing is, just like a seed of a tree, if we don't put it in a right way, in a right form, in the right place, the tree does not come. In the same way, if we don't invest the finance in a proper place, in a right way, in a legal form, the finance will not give us prosperity. And if the finance does not give us prosperity, then what is the use of investing that finance? Will we get any kind of use? No, isn't it? So it should be used for prosperity. And how we can use it for prosperity? We can use it for prosperity if we use it in the right place, in a legal form. Legal form. We should not use it for illegal form. Why I am saying illegal form, you all know. The best example is SSC incident in West Bengal. The people used it for illegal form and they are now suffering. So you can go in for that. So when we are using it for legal form in the best place, for example, let's take us the education place only. When we are going in for education place, we are not going against any local language. But when we see languages, we all know that English is all around the world and Hindi is all around India. Then comes the local language of the state. So it should come in this direction only in each and every school. It should come. I am not saying that government is wrong or the school authority is wrong or anyone is wrong. I respect them. I know they are much more experienced than me. But as per my experience, I am just sharing my view. Don't take me wrong that I am going against you. I am just sharing my view. So on that perspective, if we see that English is all around the world, Hindi is all around India, and then comes the local language, then it should be in this form in all the schools. But in all the schools, we do not find it. So if it is not in this way, then what happens? The students are not getting in the right direction the education. Because when they go for employment, the first question which is asked to them, do you know English? Yes or no? And English is the very important thing that they should be knowing it. And if they don't know, then again there comes a question mark that whether they should be kept or not. So on that perspective, if that is the thing, then again there is one more important thing, that if they are only bound to the local language, then they are restricted towards the state only. If they only know Hindi, then they are restricted towards the India only. So the thing is in this form, and even if they are restricted, there also a question is asked, do you know English? So in this form, the things are asked. So when finance has taken place, so finance should be invested towards your child education in such a form where you get English first, then your Hindi second as a second language, then the third language is the local language. Local language is also very, very important. We should not ignore it, because when we go for job, that time we should know the local language of the state, because that is very, very important to explain the things to the local public, because the local public don't know English and Hindi maybe. So that is also very, very important. So on this perspective, the finance should be invested in a very good scale. Now comes the education. Education acts as the root of inclusive growth tree. How does it act so? Please tell me. You are surprised, isn't it? But it acts so. It acts so in a form because the thing is, the education, it gives us the strength, and strength comes from the root, just like the strength of the tree comes from the root. Education gives us knowledge, which gives us the strength and support, and the knowledge should be in such a form that it brings the tree of inclusive growth in terms of inclusive education. Each and every section of the society should get education, and it should be in proper form, not just mugging up. Nowadays people do what? They go to school, write notes, then come home, go for tuitions. And tuitions, they don't go for knowledge, they go for notes. They don't even know how to write answers properly. We mostly see this kind of tuitions, etc. I don't say that tuition is wrong. Tuition, okay, they can go if they don't understand, but they should go for knowledge, not for just taking notes. So if they just mug up and write, then what they are knowing from it? They are not knowing anything from that. They are not gaining anything from that. So in this way, what we say, that your root should be strong. If your root is not strong, that is, your knowledge is not good, then you don't get the tree of inclusive growth. Then comes your healthcare. Now healthcare acts as what? Just guess. Healthcare acts as your raw material. Raw material, just like in the tree. If we don't give the raw material in the right form, then what happens? The tree does not come up in the right form. That is, in a good form. In the same way, if your healthcare is not good, if you don't eat good food, hygienic food, then the thing is that you will not get strength to do your work. And if you will not get a good strength, then how you will work? Then you will not get in a good form your tree, that is your inclusive growth tree, in form of the inclusive health care of strength. So on that way, if you say, then the healthcare acts as a raw material. Nowadays, what do you see? We see that mostly people are smoking, drinking. They are going for unhygienic food, that is fast food. And they are just moving on in a very different scale. But nobody is caring for a hygienic food. They are also eating. We see the producers are producing hybrided food. But tell me one thing. If you give your customers only the thing which is not hygienic and hybrided, which does not give them strength, then my dear producers, from where you will get the customers next time? The thing is, they will only not be there. They are just buying from you because they are not having any option. But they will die one day, no? And they will die early. But if you give them a good food, then they will live for a longer time. Maybe they will live for a longer time. So on that perspective, if you think, then you will get a good number of customers. Yes or no? So on that place, you should be taking care of. And if this kind of raw material is given, then the inclusive growth tree will be very strong, very strong, and your raw material will work for it. So if your seed is in a right place, that is your finance is invested in a right place, in legal form, if your education, that is your root, is in a good way, is strong, then, and your raw material is very hygienic and not hydrated, then you get a very strong tree, and you get the stem of the tree, which is your employment in form of inclusive employment opportunities. So when you get the stem of the tree, you can utilize the employment opportunities in a very good scale. Otherwise you cannot employ. You will not be employed, either you will not be employed or you will be employed on temporary basis, which is not good for us, isn't it? And it will not be inclusive and not sustainable also. So on that perspective, if you go, then it comes in that scale. So to get a stronger stem, we need finance, education, healthcare to be very good, hygienic, and in a proper form, in legal way from all sides. So on this way, if we move on, we get the inclusive growth tree, and then we get the stem, that is employment opportunities in form of inclusive employment opportunities for each and every section of the society. Then comes it the branches. Now if we get the employment in a very good scale, who has studied very nicely, who had invested the finance in a very good scale, in a legal form, is working in a legal way, and then has a very good health, then what happens? Then the infrastructure will also be good, because the person will be working for infrastructure in a very good scale, very nice way. The road, the railways, the houses, everything that we will be making for the country will be in a very good form, because they will be having a very good knowledge. They will be having a legal way to do each and everything. They will not cheat anyone, because they are utilizing the finance in a very good form, in a legal way. Then they know the healthcare, they will be making it in a very hygienic way. So on that way, we will be getting a very good transport system, will be getting a very good sanitation system, will be getting a very good water supply system, everything, etc. and etc. Whatever we take for the infrastructure, will be getting our branches in a very strong form. So in this way, we get our branches. After getting our branches, we get the fruit of the inclusive growth tree, which is inclusive human resource development, which is our development. And in this form, if one person development takes place, giving inclusive human resource development, then one day whole India will get inclusive growth, and that will be with inclusive human resource development. And this inclusive human resource development will give what? Sustainable development, and we will be a developed country, not a developing country anymore. And when we will be a developed country, we will be very happy, united, and working with each other, not fighting with each other. So with this aspect and view of mine, I complete my words and say, let's work for inclusive growth tree and grow the inclusive growth tree in each and every aspect of our life, and work for it, and bring in inclusive growth in India to get sustainable development and live a happy life with unity, prosperity, equity, and social justice from all sides. Thank you very much.